welcome to Internet Safari, Wild Stories Daily. Today, on Reddit's AskReddit, a thread by the subject, Sailors or People Working at Sea, what's the most creepy or most amazing sight you've witnessed? First story from user Stellic Alit. Oftentimes in the Navy, I'd stand on the fantail and watch the ocean. Once we had hundreds, probably around 400 dolphins riding the carrier's wake. They followed us for 3 days. In the middle of the Pacific, it's so dark and there's so little light. You can see reds, browns, and faint blues of gas clouds in the starscape. Another time I was watching the water at night. They say it draws you in, and it really does. You look at this pitch black void with only the wake of turbulence of the water catching light, and intrusive thoughts of jumping in just naturally occur. It's mesmerizing, especially if you're alone. At night, during one of these events, I saw blue glowing water. What I now know was bioluminescent algae. And inside this rather massive patch of blue glowing water were squid that appeared to be maybe 15 to 20 feet long. You could catch their outline by the light from the water. I stared at what was multiple squid passing by for minutes, what seemed like an eternity, and then the light started going away in the spot I was staring. There was still a lot of glowing water. We weren't headed out of it, but this patch gets darker and darker until pitch black. A solid 15 seconds of intense curiosity. Suddenly, a lot of turbulence and a whale surfaces. It had snatched up all the squid. The whale cocked to one side and looked at the ship, and our eyes met, I want to think. It studied the ship for a moment until just sinking back down until the glowing of the water masked it completely. Wow, that was so exciting. Natural phenomena like that are always amazing, and to me, the mysteries that the ocean has, still, it seems like we don't know much of the details, never ceases to amaze me. That's interesting. The writer said that the water just draws you in. And that's something that I have thought about quite a lot as well. Whenever I'm near a body of water, I always like to look in and see if I could see anything. Usually I don't really find much, but I always hope that I could see something incredible like a mermaid. I don't know why I would think that could happen, but yeah, that's fun. And it's something that also unnerves me a little bit when you're standing there looking at water. There might be something that you can't really see that's there or going on. Here's another story on the same topic from Cannot Take Ma. Fresh out of college, I got a job in Cambridge, Massachusetts, or so they said, as an architect designing whatever. Ended up doing oil rigs, and one beautiful morning there were sharks going under the main platform like always, but there were 2 that had passed away. Next morning, 3. Then 4 the next day, then a steady 4 or 5 a day for a week or 2. They would float up under the see-through deck that looked much like a metal colander. Crew would have to punch them down so the current could catch them with a large pole. What made it really weird was they looked like they had heart attacks or passed away in their sleep. No marks or bites or anything. The guys on the rig had all kinds of theories. Then one morning, while in a room that was completely submerged and had a beautiful view as we sat in a meeting, everyone got to see the reason the sharks were passing away like viewing it on a movie screen. This octopus had made itself a home between the base and the deck. A shark was swimming by in a cruising fashion, and we see these tentacles grab it right in front of the glass and snap it like a glow stick. The marine biologist smiled and said, "Octopus is literally doing that to entertain themselves." Because he can. The marine biologist lowered a dive camera, and this octopus was huge. The crew would joke about it thereafter. People would smoke on the deck at night, and people would say, "Don't let the octopus in." Seeing those tentacles was just insane for their length, and to think about how a shark is mostly muscle and the octopus would just snap them was kind of scary. One commenter below said, "That's Cthulhu." And that's exactly what I was saying before about how us everyday folk don't even think about what's in the ocean or bodies of water for a moment because, well, it doesn't really affect us, but that's pretty incredible, especially the size of these marine creatures. And while I think I don't fully agree with the marine biologist that the octopus was just doing that for entertainment, it was probably just protecting its territory, right? Still, unbelievable. Another story on the same topic from Bidet Enthusiast. Giant spears plunging in and out of the sea. In the Gulf of Alaska, I've seen some stuff. But one of the most terror-inspiring things I've seen are what can happen with some of the loose logs from the logging trade. Sometimes when a big log gets loose from a raft, it becomes partially waterlogged and floats small end up. So you have this 4-foot diameter telephone pole in the sea sticking up 40 feet in the air. No biggie, shows up on a radar and easy to spot. Now, give that pole 20 years of floating around or so, it rots in such a way that it becomes sharpened to a perfect point by wind and waves, and looks quite menacing. Now, put it in a gale with 25-foot waves, 50 feet trough to peak, and it becomes a towering spike that shoots up from the sea every 15 to 20 minutes out of nowhere, 60 feet into the air, only to plunge down into the dark depths, waiting to skewer some unsuspecting boat in a few minutes when it thrusts out of the ocean again. It is a genuinely terrifying sight, rare, but not so rare that I haven't seen two in one season. It's like the spiked trident of Neptune looking for an opportunity to mess you up in a particularly terrifying way. I think many of us can relate in that story to being scared of the power of nature. Natural disasters and dangers is something that many of us are scared and should be scared about. But in this story, what really gets me is the combination of something man-made, the telephone poles or the wood logs, combined with the dangers of nature, creating something that is oddly human, but also absolutely unbelievably terrifying in the hands of nature. Here's another story from Riotous Ragnarok. Was on watch and a lookout reported a ship on fire on the horizon. Looked through my binos and saw what they were looking at. Looked like a plume of flame really far away, just over the line of the horizon. Went and consulted the astro books and discovered it was actually moonrise. The tip of the crescent was coming over the astronomical horizon and was bright red-orange. Still very cool. This is a story that resonated with myself, as that is something I experienced as well when I was stargazing one August evening during the Perseid meteor shower. And just like that, the crescent tip of the moon was coming over the horizon. It was pitch black, first of all, so it appeared as just a dot at first, and then as the crescent rose, I didn't know it was a crescent, it started to take on a triangular shape in the sky, and it looked like something absolutely alien and supernatural. Couple that with the fact that what's closer to the horizon, the colors are more red shifted. That is a really interesting sight. It is my honor to host this show for you. If you could do me one favor and just tell someone about the show, I would really appreciate that. See you on the next safari.